Hello, my friends. Today we're going to talk about something specific. We're going to talk about the brain squeezing part of the technique for partaking of the chrism oil. If you are new to opening your third eye or the chrism oil, this video is not for you. All right, this is advanced techniques for people who are in the final stages of trying to open their third eye. Okay, so what I have behind me here is a representation of the brain. Okay, so this kind of right. So this would be the thalamus. This is the cerebellum, and this is the pituitary gland, and Jesus would be the pineal gland. Okay, and this is if we cut your brain in half this way, and we're looking down. All right, so we're looking down this way. Would be looking down your spine. All right, your eyeballs would be facing the floor. So a lot of people think that your third eye is just the pineal gland. Right? That's only a little part of it. Right? It's the thalamus and the pineal gland and the pituitary gland and some other stuff in there, right, to form this group of glands, this eye. Now, the pineal is on one side and the pituitary is on the other. Everyone always forgets about the pituitary. Right? This is the milk. This is the honey. Right? And so my understanding has changed a little bit too of how this works in the body, but the technique is still good, right? So what we're doing is we're activating both of these glands, okay? And what we're doing is we're squeezing our brain to get them to start pumping fluid like any other gland in our body. And what is happening is they're going into the cerebellum and crossing and then going down these tubes that go down your spine, the back of your spine, and they mix with some more fluids from these glands in your lower regions, in your sacral plexus, and then they come back up into these glands or into the thalamus, right? It's not very specific, so I think it's more of creating a loop. Right? My initial understanding was that there was no connection between here and here, and we're just trying to pump this fluid through the body into here, right? So my understanding has evolved a little. So I think what we're doing is more of making a complete circuit, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to squeeze from the front to the back, and we're trying to activate these two glands and get them to squeeze, okay? So a lot of you have seen, well, let me say this first. So I've done a bunch of research trying to find specifically like what muscles and tendons to tell you to push and pull or do whatever, and I can't find what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like this is attached here, and you go like this, and it pulls on this part of the brain. Like I can't find anything on that. But what I did discover is that all these pictures that we're seeing are representations of the brain, right? So even this, I have this book here. Even this Pineal Tree of Life, right? So this is a representation of the brain. You know, they're always telling us that it's a representation of the body, right? They give us the little Buddha guy with the chakras, and they're like, oh, it's the body. This is the most ridiculous thing. It's those pictures are representations of the brain, not the body. And what they're telling you here these are points in your brain, right? In the actual gray matter. And I believe that these are the points that you can contract and expand, just like a muscle, in the gray matter itself. I'm not sure that that's how it's working. You know, I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your ass. This is just what I think is happening, okay? So these points on here, these outside points, these 6 outside points on both sides, I believe are specific points in there that we are using to create this wave, right? And there's a focal point too on the front and the back, right? Here and here. And what they're telling you is, you know, you can bring your focus to here, and we're going to work this like a wave to push those fluids from here back into this, and then we're going to follow through with the technique, the rest of the technique, where we're pushing it down the spine, right? We're mixing these fluids and pushing it back up, okay? So you kind of wanted to look at those points. And I have a real quick video. It's a map of the brain, 1 and 2. They're just really quick little videos that show you how these overlay on top of the brain. And you can kind of get a better picture of what I'm talking about. So it's kind of hard to explain, right? Because there's really nothing to show you. And, I can sit here and do it all day, and it's inside my head. You can't see it. So it's really hard to describe. And some people get it right away, and some people don't. And some people never get it. Some people think I'm making up nonsense, and other people are like, oh, I've been looking for this all my life. So it is real. It is real. You can really, really squeeze your brain. And you just have to try. You just have to try it without, a lot of people dismiss it without even trying it. And I didn't like practice or anything. I just went and did it and had my experience. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. Something told me to do that, just like, and it worked. So this is what I did. Okay. And I've been messing with this for a couple of years, so it's really easy for me to do, but it involves everything in your head, right? Like, people don't understand that you do have muscles and tendons and stuff in your skull. Like, how do you move your eyes? Of course, you can move your eyes. And that's probably, reminds me, that's probably the closest thing I've ever seen to anyone admitting that you can manipulate anything inside your brain. I saw a video of this older Hindu lady, and she was saying, well, that's how you clean your pineal gland, or you decalcify it, or something like that, is by moving your eyeballs back and forth and up and down. She had some other eyeball exercises, and she was saying that messes with your pineal gland. Well, if it's doing the pineal gland, it has to be doing the pituitary also, because it's on the same side, or it's opposite of the same thing, right? So anyways, you bring your focus to your forehead, right? And your third eye is not in your forehead, right? It's a group of glands, in the center of your brain. But you start off here because it helps you bring your focus right to these muscles in this brain that you can manipulate. And you use everything, right? Your outside forehead muscles to furrow your brow, right? But it's inside your brain. So you have to concentrate and just squeeze. Feel it squeezing. Feel it like on the inside, just bear down, right? You can feel it. And a lot of times, like when you're angry or something, you can feel that. Like, that's a lot of where your mind is, right? Where you think and you're coming from, right? But you can feel it physically squeezing that front. And you got to relax and feel those same muscles or whatever it is that's squeezing that inside and pull it apart. Right? And it's almost like you're pulling from your temples. Like, you can feel this pull. Right? And you're expanding, right? Raise your eyebrows and feel it, like everything expanded. And when I was doing that, I did it for several minutes, right? I didn't just do it once, because I didn't know what I was doing, right? So I sat there for several minutes and just tried to focus. And I was like, whoa, I can feel my brain moving. And so then I went to this part up here, the top part. And I could feel it again. I could squeeze it, almost like you're squeezing with your ears. It's like inside, so hard to describe, like the back of your throat kind of area, like it's like pulling on these tendons or something, right? Like, but you can expand from there too, right? And then I kind of like lowered it a little bit, and I could start doing it where the glands are located. And I could really start to feel like my sinuses running and just feel like some fluid building up. And then that's also when I felt like this crust break, right? Just, super electrifying, and it just felt crazy. And then I went to the back part, right, where the colostrum is. And same thing, just once you bear down and kind of like use the muscles in the back of your throat, your jaw, like back here, like all this pulls on this, right? Even on the inside a little bit. And like right now, I'm squeezing the back. And it's almost like the back of my jaw right here, the back of my throat. It's like squeezing and then expanding. Mess around with it, right? Do different things. You can move your eyes back and forth. You can kind of feel it. Like when you move your eyes over here, you can kind of feel it pulling a little bit. It's really weird, right? Start playing around with your brain a little bit. You really can manipulate it. And so once I got the hang of it and I realized I could really squeeze it and expand it, then I started going to the front and I did it like a wave pattern to the back, right? So what we're doing is we're squeezing these glands and pushing it to the back. So we're squeezing like this, right? If this is your brain back here, sorry, if this is your brain, this is what we're doing, right? We're starting down here and we're squeezing all this up to this cerebellum and pushing it down our spine, okay? I know this is a hard part. This is probably the hardest part. People have, a hard time with getting over the sex and the thoughts and stuff like that. But as far as the physical technique goes, I think this is definitely the hardest part. And a lot of times people just have a hard time believing that you can do it. They just dismiss it right offhand. Well, you don't have any muscles in your brain. You're crazy. Well, how do you move your jaw or your tongue, right? You have those sinus openings in the back top roof of your mouth. You can spread those open, right? I do that all the time. I taught my kids how to do that to help drain that fluid out of their sinuses. So start messing around with that. You can absolutely do it. And, I always tell people don't practice because you don't want to waste the fluids. But this isn't just something that you do once, right? This is something that you do once a month for the rest of your life. This isn't just about having the explosive experience, which most people are trying to have. This is also a rejuvenating oil, right? This is about maintaining life, your life, right? This is how those people lived for 900 years in the Bible. This is the mystery, right? It's that Christ is a rejuvenating oil, not just the experience. So maybe not like practice throughout the month, but okay, so your time of month is coming. Practice, do it, do the thing, right? And if you can't do it, use that time as practice, and then wait, and then do it again the next month, and then wait and do it again the next month. Even if you don't have that explosive experience, you're going to start building up this fluid in your body, and it's going to change you for the better, for sure. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I can tell you that will help you? I can't really think of anything. It's really you learning how to use these muscles and tendons and stuff to manipulate the gray matter in your brain. I hope that helps you, my friends. I love you. Good luck.